Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new series that we're doing here on Spirit of the Board called Solve This. Now, the whole purpose of this series is to put out sort of interesting videos that have occurred to me whilst I've been playing this amazing game, where perhaps a solution to a problem isn't so readily visible and available at first sight. And you may think, well, that's it, there's nothing more to do, reset the game, the invaders are doing their thing. Or maybe it's not as extreme as that. Maybe it's that, oh, well, I can't do anything useful this turn, and I just have to accept that this is going to happen here, or this is going to happen there, or whatever it may be. But actually, on further inspection, as is so often the case, and I'm sure you've seen for yourselves in your games, there is almost always a solution. Not always, but almost always. And with the help of our friend Fractured Days Split the Sky, we're going to be jumping backwards and forwards in time, sort of reviewing previous videos and gameplays that I have had, pausing and discussing things. And because he's going to be featured so heavily on this very interesting and fun and hopefully educational series, I thought that it would be fair to highlight Fractured Days Split the Sky in the very first episode. So bear in mind, episodes are going to be different in nature. So, with the help of Fractured Days Split the Sky, he's going to now take us back to previous me in the previous game. And before we do, let me outline the situation. We are in dire straits, okay? This is the last turn of the game. There are no more turns after this. When the invader deck needs to be explored, there is no invader deck. So this is the last turn. You'll see the board state is littered with invaders. We've got quite a bit of blight. We're actually now in a blighted island state with just 2 blight remaining. We have accumulated a large amount of energy, and I'll let the rest of the game play out from that point on. But now, Fractured Days, help me out. I need to ask one question of my previous self, my past self.
I'm ready.
What happened to the cards that never were? My cards that never were pretty good. But nothing quite worked the way it was meant to. I never pulled a proper defensive card. I pulled... Okay, thanks, Fractured.
No problem.
So hi, everybody. This is Future Me, back again with the help of Fractured Days. And I felt it important to come back to this point in time because there are 2 things that past me had forgotten to sort of explain properly, and I wanted to come back and explain them better. So I called upon the skills of Fractured to pull me through time again back to this point. So again, thanks, buddy.
Anytime.
All right, well, first thing to mention is Fractured Days starts the game with a collection of cards, some minor, some major, that you reveal from the main deck just at the beginning of the game, and you place in this sort of personal pool of cards that only Fractured Days himself can draft from. These are called his Days That Never Were. And you'll hear me mention this a few times later in the video. It's an important point. Now, his Growth Option 3, or G3, is the only way that Fractured can access these cards. And when he does, he chooses G3, and he can select in G3 this option, and he can select any of these cards from the Days That Never Were to be put into his hand. And similar, when you're drafting cards from the main deck, you take 4 and you discard 3 and you choose 1. But in this case, you already know the ones you're drafting from. You don't discard any, and what you still do, though, if you take a major deck, major power, you have to forget any other card. So that's the first thing. The second thing to mention is what's on the screen now, okay? So we're going through the cards that are in my hand. Instruments of Their Own Ruin, Unleash, and Blur the Arc of Years. Now, this is Fractured's favorite card, okay, and it's got so many multiple uses, and we talk about this a little bit later on, okay? So these are the cards in his hand. The state of the game is pretty nasty, okay? It's the last turn of the game, and it's sort of developed into this stage. What I'm mentioning now is the cards in the discard, and you can see those. One major card there, Flow, and now I also show you the Days That Never Were. So these are his personal pool you can draft from, okay? We're going to go back, okay? We're going to go back to the past through the help of Fractured Days, and we're going to carry on the video from this point on, okay? Just make a point that, again, I mentioned the Days That Never Were, show you these cards, have a look in this point, pause the video, figure out what to do, what cards you play, how do you do this. Note there's a lot of energy. That's the clue I'll give you. All right, Fractured, take us back.
Here we go.
So, first thing is we're going with growth option 3. This gains us a sun, which will be very important, and the ability to move a presence, and the ability to gain a power card from the Days That Never Were. I thought that was as obvious as I can make it in the previous explanation. So, the one that we're going to pick up is Tiger's Hunting. Okay? We need to forget a card. Okay? So we're going to forget Absolute Stasis. Yeah. I think that's right. Then we're going to move our presence, and we're going to move the presence from here to this land here. Okay? This is the state of our presence track, which maybe I didn't show actually. So we're going to gain 2 energy, 2 energy, and 2 energy. We're then going to play Blur, Instruments, and Unleash. Okay? We're going to finish playing. We've got a slip that we can target. We target, we don't reclaim anything. We go into our discard pile and we pull back Flow Like Water, Reach Like Air. Okay? We then play Flow Like Water, Reach Like Air, and it is thresholded. Okay? We're then going to play this on ourselves, moving our presence from this land into this one here. Okay? Try and make it as clear as I can. Get it a bit closer. Let's move this back out. Okay. That's probably the best I can do. Oh, sorry. Okay. This allows us to move up to 2 cities and Blight if we want to, alongside 2 towns and 2 explorers and 2 Dahan. It's a crazy card. So we're going to move the cities and the explorers. Okay. We're going to leave the Blight where it is. Skip that. We're then wanting to play Instruments of Their Own Ruin, but thresholded. So the way we do that is we slip again. We do not reclaim. We pull Tiger's Hunting in, which we cannot actually target. Okay? And yeah, we cannot actually target that ability. Instead, what we're doing is we're using it to threshold instruments. Okay? We then blur. And we blur the Arc of Days into this land. And it actually ends up killing every single invader around it, because remember, and it's at this point that I was having way too much fun seeing all those fear tokens flying at me that I completely lost my trail of thought with what I was trying to say and trying to get across. But with the help of good old Fractured Days Split the Sky, I've been able to go back again and explain to you all what I had meant to say but for God. And I suspect that in all the future episodes of this series, Fractured Days Split the Sky is going to be helping us out a lot, jumping us here, there, and everywhere. Well, it's only fitting, therefore, that he takes, pride of place in the first episode. So what I had tried to say there, but then lost my trail of thought with, was, remember, what happened in this particular situation was we thresholded instruments of their own ruin in land A2. So at the point of any ravaging, instead of the invaders themselves ravaging in that land, what they do instead is they do not ravage that land, but they ravage all the adjacent lands and only the invaders in the adjacent lands. So they actually become almost like your private army, and instead of doing any damage on the land they're in, they attack the invaders on the other lands. They become the instruments of their own ruin. So it's an incredibly powerful card when thresholded, and in this manner, we were able to make the land A2 become almost like a nuke to the adjacent lands around it, to the invaders in the adjacent lands around it. The reason it went off is because we cast and played Blur the Arc of Years on that land. And Blur the Arc of Years is a card which basically it has multi-function, multi-layered functionality. And the multi-layered functionality of the card, in this instance, said what you do is, if there are invaders in the land, ravage the land. You build and then you ravage, okay? If there are Dahan, you grow more Dahan, and then you can move out into different land. And if there are no Dahan or invaders, then if there's blight, you heal the blight of the land. So in this instance, we triggered a ravage. So first a build and then they ravage. And that then caused instruments of their own ruin to go off. So I hope that makes a bit more sense. Okay, come on, Fractured.
Never left.
Take us back to the me of before.
As you wish.
This is crazy. Okay. So we've now shot up to... Okay, so we're not going to spend time to repeat because there are no other things to kill off. So we're going to finish using that power. Now we've moved up to... We've generated 3 fear cards and we're almost in Terror level 3. Alright? We now... I mean, technically right now we can almost win, but we're going to do something else, okay? We're going to slip again. It's going to cost us 2 time. We're going to pull back, flow like water. So we're going to skip using that. We're going to pull this back, play it again, and now we're going to move it on ourselves, and we're going to move our presence into this land here. We don't have to pull this with us. We then, so we skip those. We then unleash on ourselves. We're going to gain energy. And we're going to forget a card. We're going to forget the past returns to gain another 4 energy. And now, can you see, we basically just need to kill the cities off. And remember, each city is 2 fear. So that's 2. How many cities are there? 4 cities. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8 fear. And we need to generate 6 fear. Now, to destroy even more, you can actually slip again, generate even more. So that's what we'll do, just to do more funsies. We can actually slip again. We can skip using this. We can reclaim this. We can play Unleash again on ourselves, gaining energy. Okay? And we can actually forget Flow. And if we forget flow, we get another 4 energy. We can slip again. All our time is now used. We skip. We pull this back. We play on ourselves. And now we're paying all the energy. And we're playing it into this land. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Onto the town if I can cast it. Town. Town. And have I got any more? Town. I think I may have killed a few people off instead, but you get the idea. So on the last turn of the game, we did it. How crazy is that? This is the crazy power of Fractured Days. I hope you enjoyed this episode. There'll be many more like this. This is one of the new things that I'm going to be putting in. Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was excellent. I really enjoyed this, but there's so many of these little mini games you can start to try to play, and if you can see the out, I mean, great. So I hope you all saw the out. I hope you saw how to figure it out, but if not, I hope you enjoyed the video. Keep spiriting, keep saving the island, and in the process, try and save the Dahan. Good luck, and God bless.